A little segment we like to call Heaters.
All right, Em. This is my heater. I dare you to hit it.
Hot shit. I'm going too hot, lady. Here come the hot stepper.
Heaters, Week 10, brought to you by our homies at denversportsbetting.com. All right, Week 10, how are you starting out, Dal?
Let's take a look at Chargers versus Dolphins. After 4 straight wins, the Miami Dolphins are 5-3. Tua looked much improved against the Cardinals last week as he completed 20 out of 28 passes for 248 yards and 2 tutties. The Dolphins have racked up 28 points in 5 of their last 7 games. LA is 2-6 on the season, and each week is finding a way to lose a game. I'm riding with the hot hand here. Dolphins at home, -2.5.
Great cash, homie.
It's good to see you on my team. And I'm calling this my team because this will be the 3rd or 4th week straight I've taken them. So it's good to see you finally seeing the light and trying to win some money. I've been rocking with the Dolphins heavy, so why stop now, baby? Miami's still one of the most underrated teams in the league, despite the big win against Arizona last week off the bye. No one's giving them credit for that. Huge. This spread this week is still a little bit too low for me. I think Tua follows up the strong performance from last week with another big one. Chargers secondary ravaged by injuries. Even if this game is close, I think Brian Flores will out-coach Anthony Lynn all day, and the Chargers will find a way to lose the game, as they have done all year. I'm riding with the hot hand as well. Dolphins, -2.5.
Great cash, homie.
For my second one, let's look at Texans versus the Browns. Baker Mayfield will need to clear COVID-19 protocols still yet. So we are unsure, even after this magnificent bye that they absolutely needed, and I'll get into why in just a second. But if he does not clear, we're looking at Case Keenum playing the backup. That is a little worrisome. That being said, the possibility of Browns getting back Nick Chubb is a boost, especially with the Texans having the worst run defense in the league this season. Houston is giving up a whopping 5.1 yards per carry and 159.5 rushing yards per game. Kareem and Chubb should be the two-headed monster that would make a huge statement. Deshaun Watson struggles with pressure. Look for moisture and low 50s. For game time, Watson is not good in multiple conditions. I'm taking the Browns fresh off bye, -3.
Great cash, homie.
Vikings at Bears. Vikes are coming off back-to-back wins, thanks to Dalvin Cook, who's basically been unstoppable. Well, unlike the Packers and Lions, the Bears actually have a really good defense against the run. They just shut down Derrick Henry, so I think they'll be able to cool Dalvin Cook off a little bit. I don't know if they can contain him fully, but cool him down a little bit. This, of course, will force Kirk Cousins to throw the ball quite a bit more, and he hasn't had to do that since the Atlanta game when they got throttled 40-23. Bears should be able to force Cousins into some turnovers, and on the other side of the ball, I think Bears receivers should do well against Minnesota's backup cornerbacks. Give me Chicago in primetime in the Windy City as a home dog. Chicago +3 at home.
Great cash, homie.
Love this one. This was actually my third one. I'm right in the middle with the confidence on this one. Minnesota passing game looks absolutely atrocious since they've gone to Dalvin Cook. Does Cousins even know how to throw anymore? Jefferson is still around? Thielen? Where are these guys at? So I am right there with you, especially with Chicago at home in the Windy City. It is hard to play Chicago with that defense. It's hard to play at home. And if they also brought Nick Foles off the bench, this would be an absolute lock. But I'm right here with you. I'm taking the Bears as well.
Bears. Great cash, homie.
All right, let's go 49ers at Saints. Advanced spread on this game, New Orleans -6.5. That was at Sunday after the games. You could have bet this game early before the Saints had played the Bucs. They were -6.5 here. After the blowout, in prime time, the public has boosted this thing all the way up to 9.5. Seems like classic overreaction to a primetime blowout game to me. 49ers will be much better this week, getting back their top 3 receivers and their starting left tackle. It's also going to help with the run game that was non-existent last week against the Packers. With that all in mind, I like San Fran to hang with New Orleans this week. Outside of the blowout win Monday night, the Saints have played close games against the Chargers, Panthers, and Bears. The Saints didn't even beat the Lions by more than a touchdown. Now all of a sudden they're world beaters because of what they did to Tom Brady in primetime. Like I said before, we're looking out the windshield. We're not looking through the rearview mirror. I'm going to go with the 49ers plus the big number. Niners plus 9.5.
Great cash, homie.
Eagles versus Giants. Let's take a look at this. A week ago, I made the point that the Giants might actually be the best team in their division after they nearly upset Tampa Bay and this last week victory over Washington football team. The Giants' last 3 defeats have come by a combined total of 6 points only. They're keeping it close. every game. Their defense has allowed just 3.7 yards per carry this season and held Boston Scott to 46 yards when the Giants played Philly Week 7. Let's go back to Week 7. Eagles squeaked out a win 22-21, but Daniel Jones himself led all rushers with 92 rushing yards and 2 tutties. The O-line of the Giants has just started to improve the last 2 weeks, which was the bad news Bears against the Eagles Week 7. And that's the difference this week, protecting Danny Dimes. I'm taking Giants plus 3.5, the dogs.
Straight cash, homie.
The injury news in this one could be huge. Ben Roethlisberger, if you haven't heard, he's on the COVID-19 list. He's not practicing with the team all this week. He should be hopefully back by Saturday, as long as he tests negative, but not practicing throughout the whole week. You could say it's a big issue. You could say it's not a big issue. That's not the main reason I'm betting this here. I just think it adds to the reason I like the Bengals. Since he is getting most of their offensive line back this week, they got a bye last week. The week before, they had a terrible offensive line, ravaged by injuries, and they still beat Tennessee. With all that in mind, I think we're getting really good value on the Bengals. We got to go Bengals here, plus 7 in the hook. Bengals are plus 7.5. I like that a lot.
Straight cash, homie.
I'm with you on this one as well. The Steelers are keeping some of these games that shouldn't be close too damn close. Look what happened against the Cowboys. Tomlin is still the better coach in most of their games. There's no doubt about that. But I just think what the Bengals have been doing, what they continue to do against great teams, and getting the help back that you just spoke on, I'm taking the dog here. I like the points.
Straight cash, homie.
Final one, Bucks Panthers. I said it a few weeks ago. I love elite QBs off a loss when they're favored by less than a touchdown. We have that scenario here, Bucks minus 5. We had the similar scenario a few weeks ago. If you remember, the Bucks got beat by the Bears in week 5. Everybody overreacted the next week, and they were plus 1 against Green Bay. What happened? They went out and destroyed Green Bay 38-10. I'm going with Brady off a loss again in this spot. I think Carolina is a massive public dog because they played the Chiefs very tough last week, and we saw the Bucs get blown out in primetime. Brady, 44-21 against the spread in his career after a loss. Now, if you take out the games where he's been favored by more than a touchdown after that loss, he's 36-10 in his career. I love Tampa in a smash spot here. Bucks minus 5.
Straight cash, homie.
Those are your heaters for Week 10. Let me recap for you. Dallas is on the Browns minus 3, Dolphins minus 2.5, Giants plus 3.5, Bears plus 3, Bengals plus 7.5.
Dogs.
I am on the Bucks minus 5, Dolphins minus 2.5, Bengals plus 7.5, Niners plus 9.5, and Bears plus 3. Those are your heaters for Week 10, brought to you by our homies at denversportsbetting.com. Like I tell you every week, man, tons of MMA coverage, college football coverage, NFL coverage, our picks on there for NFL. They have some other NFL picks, denversportsbetting.com.